What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Stand Up Guys Podcast, episode 178. I'm your host, the incomparable Zach Jones, joined as always by the Ninth Wonder, Chocolate Thunder, doing the deed and spreading that seed, the rootin' tootin', skeet shootin', filling up pies with a might of 50 guys, I ain't telling no lies, the phenomenal AJ Singh.
All lies.
Oh, man, AJ, I don't know about you. It was kind of a slow week for me. You do anything this week?
No, not at all.
Did you watch anything?
Not really. No, I don't think I did watch anything this week. Just a bunch of YouTube stuff,
YouTube. The only thing I watched this week was the newest episode of that Death and Other Details show on Hulu.
Okay.
Murder mystery show, which I got to say, I'm still really enjoying that show. So,
Nice.
I would encourage people to watch it if you're into the murder mystery genre. But really, the reason I haven't been watching much is, as I told you, I started playing God of War Ragnarok finally. After all these years, I got around to it. And I got to say, AJ, you were right on the money. It's a great game.
Yeah.
I'm really having a fun time with it. Just like the scope of those games is always impressive,
Very well written.
Yeah, that too. And how they weave in the mythology is really cool.
Yeah.
I will say, like, my only criticisms of the game, I think my main one, and this annoyed me in the first, or I guess the 2018 version of God of War, is I don't like how they handle like all the like armor and upgrades and stuff.
Mm.
It just annoys me that you're constantly getting like this set of armor and then this set of armor and then this set of armor, and they have all these different stats. Like for me, just give me like one set of armor and let me upgrade that. And like maybe I find stuff in the world that lets me change the appearance of it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I find things in the world that lets me apply like special powers to it.
Yeah.
But just give me the one set. I don't need a million different. I call it like the mittens of McGarnagle, like type of thing, where like I don't need all these like separate things. Like just give me one set, I'll upgrade it, and then like I said, maybe you find like these scrolls in the world that you can take to Brock and Sindri, the characters, that upgrade your stuff, and they can be like, oh, you want to apply this so it looks like this. Like that to me would be kind of cool, but like the way they do it, I feel like I'm just like spending more time in the menus than I want to, and it's all kind of convoluted. It's like, okay, do I put all these upgrades into a level 2 armor just to later on get a level 3 armor? And like maybe I like the special like power of the level 2 armor better than the level 4 armor. You know what I mean? And it'd just be good to be able to match the, not have to always be doing that in and out of different sets of armor. It kind of annoys me, and I don't know why people like it. It's in so many games like that I'm just like, why do people like this better than what they could be doing? You know what I mean?
I do. I also had one issue with all those games. Like, I'm really bad at like the timing of the buttons. Like, press A this time, press X this time, press Y this time, do this like in this order. Because like for me, inevitably, I'm going to have to repeat those things. Like, I'm never going to get them right on the first try. So I have to, do the same move against this. I have to get the boss down to a certain level, get him in position again, and then like have to try those moves again. So, that was kind of like irritating to me, but I get why it's not a big deal.
I will say, oddly enough, so like in the first game, you start off with the Leviathan axe, and that's like your main weapon. And then I guess this is a slight spoiler for the 2018 game, but like anyone who wanted to play that game has played it by now. But like during the midpoint of that game, you end up getting the Blades of Chaos back that, Kratos is known for from the original games. And like I like that because in the first game, I don't know what it was, but I could not get used to like fighting with the axe because like sometimes you would like throw it and then you'd like forget to call it back, and it just got like confusing, and like it almost felt like that thing where like you try to like rub your stomach and pat your head at the same time, and it was really, I found it really difficult. So in the first game, once I got to Blades of Chaos, I just used them exclusively for fighting. And in this game, I don't know why, but like I'm tending towards the axe more. Like it just, I don't know, I got used to it or something, and so I've been using it more than the Blades of Chaos.
Yeah, from the gameplay that I've seen online, most people choose the axe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, well, you may use it anyway for like all the like other stuff, like getting past like the puzzle, like the world and stuff. You have to hit something and do something else with the axe. So I think people just get used to using it anyway. But
I think that is part of it because yeah, in between the fighting, you're always like either doing puzzles or you need to throw the axe at something, so it's always in your hand. So you got
yeah,
to do that extra button push to switch to the Blades of Chaos, and so I think it is just kind of a thing. Well, like oh, I already have the axe, I'll just start using it, you know.
right, right.
And then the only other thing is, and I get why this is. So I'm playing on PlayStation 5, but this game was a cross release on both PS4 and PS5. So
Mm.
just like in the first game, anytime you travel between realms, it does that thing where it has you like walk around the tree, the Yggdrasil tree or whatever, you know, until the thing opens. And I know that's just like, you know, basically a loading screen.
Mm.
Whereas like if this game was made natively on PS5, you wouldn't need that. You could just walk
Right.
directly between.
Yeah, yeah.
So there, you know, there's a lot of that.
Probably you'll see the difference in the next game. Like you're playing the first one, right? The 2018. So I
Well,
think the
now I'm playing Ragnarok.
oh, you're playing. Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
that's that was made for PS4 mostly. Like it
Well,
wasn't.
it was a cross-gen game, so it released on PS4 and PS5. I'm playing the PS5 version, but because it was a cross-gen game, it still has those loading times.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one will be perfect for you guys.
Yeah, yeah. Eventually, man. I would say by the next console generation, yeah, loading screens will be basically nothing. You know, they for games natively made on PS5, they pretty much already are, which is really cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get so upset with loading screens. Even like I play Nintendo Switch a lot these days, with the nephews and stuff. And just like there's like 5-second loading screens. I'm just like, oh god, get it over with.
Yeah, when you play an older game that has those, it does seem like pulling teeth now. Where you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, come on, come on. Yeah, I totally
How
get
long
that.
it used to take to pull up a picture on America Online?
Oh yeah, I know. That's one thing kids today will never understand, like how terrible the internet used to be and how terrible game loadings used to be.
We were the guinea pig. Like they tested it on us. They were like, let's see how long this person will wait for this JPEG to load. It's just nuts.
It's funny that that's our hard luck story, though.
Yeah, it's true
Just
too.
like
Yeah,
the internet was so hard to use.
there
Although,
was a time
like,
to walk across like the country and
I don't even know what this generation's hard luck story will be. It'll be something even weaker than that.
yeah, probably.
Be like
I wonder what.
we actually had to work a job before the robots did everything for us.
Yeah, that could be it.
But yeah, I think I'm about 11 hours in to God of War so far. Um, I don't know how long the game is because I noticed like it says I'm about 25% done. Does that mean the game's like 40 hours long?
I think like 40 to 60 hours, something like that.
Holy cow! I didn't know that was that long. That might be a bit too long, but so far I'm very much enjoying it.
I mean, I watched just the gameplay alone, or not the gameplay, the storyline alone. I think that was 15 hours. No, maybe it was 7. I think somebody cut it down to like 7.5. So, I mean, just like condensed storyline is, about a fifth of the game, more or less.
Okay. Of course, I am trying to do as I go along, like the side missions and stuff
Oh, right,
too.
yeah. Mm.
One thing, this has a what they call a Metroidvania type thing too, where like you'll see like certain puzzles and stuff, and they'll be like, "Oh, we don't have what it takes to do that now," and you'll just have to like put it in your brain, like, "Oh, once I unlock that power later on, I'll have to go back." But some of
Mm.
those, I'm like, I'm gonna forget by the time I actually get the
Right,
power to. I'm like, some of those I'm like, okay, I think you could give me that power so I can go back now. But
yeah.
we'll see how they space those out. So that's my gaming this week. Okay, I did want to talk about a particular story, and I don't have a ton of details, but so I still keep up with wrestling.
Yeah.
I it's I mean I loved wrestling when I was a kid. It's not great these days, but something inside me I just compels me still to keep up with it. WWE at least. And
Yeah.
so it was announced. I found this surprising that starting next January, so a year from now, uh,
Mm.
Monday Night Raw is actually going to start airing on Netflix. Netflix bought
Oh,
the
all
rights.
right.
So the thing
That'll
that
make
go ahead.
that'll make it more popular, right? Like everybody has Netflix,
Uh,
depending on your licensing or whatever the deal is. But I
yeah,
mean, it's already popular everywhere. I don't. Yeah. I don't know.
I guess I'll have to subscribe to Netflix again, which was kind of a bummer
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I don't know. They haven't had a ton of. That's why I haven't been subscribed in a while. Is they just ran out of stuff that I was really that interested in. But the thing that kind of bums me out is part of the news release said that like in other countries, not the U.S. but outside the U.S., like their Netflix will also be streaming like SmackDown, NXT. I think
Mm.
even a lot of like the pay per view stuff. But
Mm.
like that makes me think that in America they're going to make us still like subscribe to some, like either Peacock or some other streaming service
Yeah.
for
Oh, for
those.
sure. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could probably get like a what do you call it, the I thing that changes your IP address to another country. So
Oh,
you yeah
VPN.
yeah VPN. So there's probably a way around that, but like that's still an extra step that I don't really want. But the other thing I was wondering, AJ, did you hear this news story about Vince McMahon that broke this week?
No.
Okay, this is pretty wild. So, like about maybe it was a year and a half ago, he was already in a scandal because he basically got caught having an affair with a woman that worked at the company and paying her hush money. And I don't even think the crime necessarily was the hush money, but the fact that he might have used like corporate funds to pay her.
Okay.
And I'm not even sure how that shook out, whether it was settled in a manner or whether he just got away with it or whatever. But it was weird because at that point he stepped away for a while, but then the company ended up selling to TKO, which also owns the UFC.
Okay.
And
This man sold the WWE to or a different company.
yeah, so it was already like a corporately held entity, but now, yeah. So there was this big sale, and now that it's owned, basically there's this group called TKO Group, and now they own both the UFC and the WWE.
Okay.
So when that happened, even though Vince was embroiled in this scandal, um, like basically they let him back on in some sort of position, and he claimed that he wasn't like doing any of the day-to-day stuff with the WWE, but
Mhm.
like a lot of people said like yeah he was still influencing things. um,
Yeah.
but now that same woman is still now suing him for what she calls I think not only like sexual abuse but sexual trafficking,
What?
because he basically encouraged, like not only did he have relations with her, but he encouraged her to have relations with this other guy in the company that was essentially in a position above her,
Okay.
and you know basically made it sound like she'd be fired if she didn't do that, and he also like encouraged her allegedly to like send like nude photos and stuff to, they don't
Mm.
name him but it sounds like Brock Lesnar, like from
Oh,
the
what? Oh
descriptions.
my
Yes,
God.
so this is going to be like I
How
think a
old is
pretty
this
big.
lady? Is she like a young, like 30 or something? Is she like
Yeah,
an
I think
older?
no, she's a younger woman. Yeah,
Okay.
she's a younger woman.
All right.
But also they uncut in this lawsuit, they post some of the text messages that Vince sent her, And all I gotta
Oh,
say is you should look him up because they are wild.
oof.
Because he's like one of them, he tells her like that she should get like basically like you know, three big black guys should like go at run a train on her and all this stuff. And
Oh,
like
God. This guy was saying all his stuff, man. All his innermost kink thoughts.
it gets dark. And like the thing of it is most of those, like a lawyer could probably just say, "Oh, that's all fantasy stuff," you know. But the one that gets him is there's a couple I think where he mentions like so John Laurinaitis is this other guy in the company that he was basically encouraging her to have relations with,
Okay.
and there's text where he's basically setting up those meetings and stuff, and so I think those are going to be the smoking gun. And
Why
by
was
the
he
way,
so intent on her laying with like banging these people? Like, why was he so? He became a pimp all of a sudden. Like, he was the guy who's in charge of the WWE. He's a multi. He's wasn't he a billionaire at this point?
oh yeah, he still is. He still is. But it is bizarre because like it's one thing if he was just having an affair with this lady, but why would he then encourage her to have relations with other people in the company? That's just weird to me.
The only thing I can think is like it's a power thing.
I think it is.
Yeah, I mean I see her lawsuit. It makes sense to me. Like he was definitely wielding that over her and telling her she'd be out of a job if she didn't do anything. Man, that's he's gonna have to settle.
Well, the latest update to this story is he did. I think either just yesterday, maybe the day before, he did resign his position with the company.
Okay.
So, but I mean, I encourage you when we're done to go look up those text messages because,
Oh
like
boy,
I said,
Grady cringe.
they're wild, man. They're wild, and they do not put him in a flattering light. I mean, I think he is going to end up paying money,
Oh yeah,
big time.
I wholeheartedly think that's the case. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but man, craziness. I just wonder too, like if it is found that like I think they said like there's no evidence that Brock Lesnar had like actual like sexual relations with this woman, but there
Yeah.
was evidence that like it like she sent him the nudes and like she called him or he called her a derogatory name for some reason and
Oh,
like so I'm just wondering like how many people get caught up in this scandal and like what it does to their careers like because
this
even
is
if
this
how
is some sort of.
yeah
Oh, good.
well I was just gonna say like how many people knew about this and if it's uncovered that they knew about it like there I assume there could be they could lose their job as well.
It just sounds like everybody was trying to like use this as a toilet. Like they were just trying to like some sort of dom sub relationship situation. Like it's weird.
In one of those texts too he like says that he told like you know everybody like a bunch of other people he works with about her and how all this like graphic sexual stuff about and I'm like geez
Oh,
Lou like it's crazy. Yeah, Vince McMahon is he I always I always knew he was like out there like you know
yeah, you can tell. You can tell.
man like I'm almost surprised he wasn't on Epstein's list to be honest.
There's still hope that, or whatever you want to call it, that he is. Like it's. I'm sure a lot of people haven't been found out. Epstein was mysteriously killed or died or committed suicide or whatever the case was. I'm sure some people, are safe from that exposure.
Yeah, man. And then recently like him and Donald Trump really are cut from the same cloth, Vince and, and Donald Trump. And Trump was just, last year I think he was not criminally because it had like been too long, but he was basically civilly convicted of sexual assault to that one woman, and now he's
Mhm.
been ordered to pay her something like $80 million. Now I think they say that'll probably be appealed, and eventually he'll probably there'll be a settlement where he probably doesn't have to pay quite that
Yeah.
much, but it'll still be millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Um, man,
people in power, man. Men in power. You don't hear about the women in power, so I don't know. Maybe they're very smart about what they do, or the guys just are happy to be a sugar baby in that situation or whatever. But you hear about it from men all the time.
Man, I know we don't talk politics like a ton on this show, but what do you actually think is the most likely outcome this year? Because I gotta say, like, I think so many Democrats have their head in the sand on
Yeah.
this year because they think they're just convinced that Donald Trump is going to get convicted of all these things. He's going to go to jail. He's not going to. First of all, even if he's convicted, he's going to appeal, and it's going to go at least until November, till when the election is. So,
Right.
like, he's still going to be on the ballot. And, but, like, I watched a segment from Overtime with Bill Maher, and, like, they had a politician on there, and he's like, oh, the American people, they're going to, after all these court cases and stuff, they're going to see how bad Donald Trump is, and they're not going to vote for him. I'm like, you're so you're either lying or you got your head in the sand so far. If the election were held today, Donald Trump would win hands down by a mile. And like, I don't know. I just don't see anything good happening politically this year.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go well at all. I mean, not for people who want this country to go more in a progressive fashion. I think we're going back to Trump, man. Like,
I do too.
yeah,
Our best case scenario is Biden somehow winning. And if you're progressive, that sucks too, because
balls. Yeah,
he's the most corporate of corporate Democrats.
he's as Republican as a Democrat can get.
Yeah, basically, it's funny. You now see, now that the Republicans have taken such a right wing turn, the Democrats, the corporate Democrats, just come off as like old school Republicans.
Yeah.
They're maybe a little better on some of the social issues, but
they say the right things.
Yeah, but economically and taxation wise, they're right in line with them. And
I don't know for sure, but I doubt the homeless population decreased under Biden. You know what I mean? Like the social, all that stuff. Like, yeah. And he was supposed to do something about student loans and never did. So that was one of his big things that he ran on, right? So I think that's going to come back to bite him in the ass too.
Which even if he did that one thing right, he would have such better chance of getting reelected now. Yeah. But he couldn't even do that. Right. But like, even if like, let's say like some legal thing makes Trump not able to run, or let's say he even passed away or something, right? I don't even think in that instance Biden would win. I think the Republicans could run anybody, and they would still handily beat Biden. I don't see Biden winning. I just don't see it.
Yeah, you might be right. I mean, we only see them in the context of going against Trump. That's why we think they have no chance. But against Biden, they could possibly maybe have a chance. They could beat him. I don't know.
I think they could 100%. I don't see Biden winning re-election.
Honestly, maybe I'm just pessimistic, but I think no matter what, not much changes in the situation because Biden hasn't done anything, and Trump will come in and roll back a bunch of things probably. But I mean, that's what will change. He'll just take us to a more libertarian type, I guess, like hard right wing kind of turn. But Biden wasn't pushing us to the left at all. He wasn't pushing us in a more progressive manner. That was never going to happen.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, what's it going to take for, like, how badly does the DNC have to lose before they would actually, give a more progressive candidate a chance? Because, like, even after this election cycle, like, it's just going to be the new guy it's going to be Gavin Newsom, another just corporate
Democrat, yeah.
Democrat a-hole that's terrible. And yeah, we're just going to be stuck with somebody like him. And it's just like, man, I'm just waiting for the tide to turn,
I mean, thing is, these corporate Democrats, they work against the progressives. They're trying
I,
to kick them out. They're limiting their powers. They're silencing them. They're working with these corporations to like get anybody who fights against them or tries to limit their power out. So yeah, I mean,
they
it's an
wouldn't.
uphill battle.
Yeah, they won't even. In every state they can, they're trying to like not even let them primary. That's how
Yeah,
like terrible they are.
yeah. I think there's like five like progressives that I know about at all. Like there's one in Seattle and there's four in Washington right now. Like that's pretty much all I know. Like I don't know any progressives.
Yeah, it's and I just it's a political year, so there's going to be a bunch of like stupid political rallies where the Trump people are going to do you know dumb stuff. Hopefully not violent stuff, but it wouldn't surprise me. And it's
Yeah.
just going to I don't know. I predict this whole year is going to be a mess in that in that vein.
I'm just grateful that so far, like we haven't had that rhetoric, that whole thing about it's an election year and we're left versus right, we're fighting and it's turmoil. Like maybe it's because I don't have cable anymore. I don't know. Maybe it's really popping off on there, but you know, last time I felt like it was like 4 straight years of that. At least while Trump was in office, it was just 4 straight years of the next election, worry about it. Right now, I'm not even like it's not on my mind. Like it's not something I think about. It's not something that's being forced down my throat. So I'm at least grateful for that, I guess.
I will say one good thing this week is they announced. I wish it was more, but apparently, one day a week, Jon Stewart is going to host the Daily Show again.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I mean, I wish he was doing it like all 4 days a week or whatever. But like,
Yeah,
I miss that guy so much.
he
So
was so good. He was such a voice of reason. Oh my, he has his own show on Apple TV, I think. I haven't watched it though.
not anymore though.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, you know what happened is it's so funny. He did a show where he was critical of Apple, and
Oh,
they either I don't know if they refused to air it or they aired it and then dropped him, but basically it caused him to lose that show. Which I mean, good on him for like
yeah. He has integrity.
yeah. So, but yeah, I haven't actually watched the Daily Show in forever. Like I'm sure like it's probably still a fine show and everything, but it just wasn't the same without him. Like I watched a little bit of the Trevor Noah stuff, but I don't know, I just didn't hit the same.
I don't even think it's fine right now. I think Trevor Noah left too, so now it's just helter skelter. They've got like different people coming in hosting all the time. Like,
Yeah, I heard they had like guest hosts and stuff.
yeah, I don't think they have anybody consistent. So I mean, I guess him coming once a week is going to be like that, you know, Red Robin of hosts, like coming in and like doing it once a week maybe or something like that.
I'm kind of hoping that the episodes he hosts will do so well that it'll encourage him to do more.
I hope so too. Thing is, like, he got so tired of it last time. Yeah, I hope he finds his love for it. I do. I hope he finds his passion for it again. He's so good at it, man.
I got to say, like, I know we shouldn't probably encourage celebrities to run for office, but he is one guy that if he ran for president, I would totally
Yeah,
back him up because he is progressive. He's super smart. He knows
yeah,
the issues, and he's so personable that I think he would do actually a great job.
yeah. He's so eloquent. Like the way he speaks, like there's you feel like even if you don't agree with him, you understand where he's coming from. Like I always agree with him, but I feel like there's always like he lays it out in a way where you can't be like this is political jargon. This guy's actually speaking from a logical, reasonable, and uh like a real point of view from like helping people.
Yeah, I think
And like
you're right. He's good at laying things out to where like even people that disagree with him have to go like, "Oh man, he's got a point there." You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
I think I mean, I don't think he would be interested, and I totally get it. But like, man, the thing of it is he's I think that's really one of the only ways we would ever get a true progressive in office is if it was somebody like him who had just such respect of people that, like, he would actually win. Like,
I think so too. Um, I don't know much about Al Franken. He seemed like an at least like somewhat well spoken person though. Uh, it was kind of a shame that he stepped down so quickly. Like I know he had that scandal, but so many politicians have had way worse
oh, I
scandals.
know. Yeah, he shouldn't have stepped down for that. He
Yeah,
should have just said, "Yeah, it was a stupid thing. I apologize for it," and he should have moved on and kept going.
yeah. I mean, Jim Jordan literally let pedophilia run rampant. Like he let people assault kids in like what in college, and was there also younger people, like young people? I'm not sure.
I don't know
I
the
think there was,
details of that, but yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
yeah, and he's got his chest out, like I don't know what you're talking about. Forget it, leave it alone. Like, yeah, the Democrats like threw Franken under the bus so quickly. Ugh.
And like, I don't think it's been litigated yet, but that Matt Gaetz guy, he's accused
Oh
of
yeah, he's got a,
being with underage girls or whatever. So it's like, yeah, the Republicans have such worse scandals, and they'll stay in office no matter what.
yeah.
They did finally get rid of that one guy who was just like a pathological liar that made like
Oh,
everything
the
up.
Skintos, yeah, yeah. I'm surprised they got rid of him. Honestly, he was such a golden sellout. Like he would do anything the corporations told him to do. Like whoever his benefactor was, he would just do whatever. Like literally, he did drag himself. He was clearly, uh, gay or something,
Right.
and he was like, what anti-gay, this anti-homosexual, anti-drag, all this. Like, come on, jeez, have a
Yeah, didn't they like find a picture of him in drag and he still like denied that it
yeah,
was him or all this stuff?
yeah. Oh my gosh, man, that
Man,
dude was so.
the other thing I hate about now with like AI and stuff is like that Roger Stone guy who's like you know a blatant criminal and like Trump suck up.
Yeah.
Like just recently, like he was accused of something else, and they basically played incriminating like audio of him, and he was like, "Oh, it's just an AI bot, doing my voice," and like that's going to be a thing going forward if they can't like find a way to like authenticate what's AI and what's not with people speaking. Like, video recorded evidence is going to get very tricky going forward, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, I hope they have something in like in a plan to like stop that or something. But yeah, I couldn't like not with my. I wouldn't be able to understand how they would be able to figure that out. Right now, AI kind of sucks. You can still tell what's what. Usually they don't get the hands and feet right. Uh,
Yeah, I
but
think
in
the
the
visual stuff, like right now, people can tell, but if it's just audio, man, some of those audio ones are so good you can't tell.
okay, I haven't heard that yet. So I mean, yeah, I can imagine.
I mean, to the naked ear, you can't tell. There might be ways of analyzing audio with computers and still finding.
They're gonna figure out how to make it like almost seamless, like maybe exactly right,
Yeah,
So yeah, it's coming.
yeah, it's man, and just think what it's going to do for like political like propaganda attack
Oh,
ads,
yeah.
because like people will believe anything.
Crazy already. They
Yeah,
lie about everything. And like if they get a chance to show you the lie, it's gonna be seared into people's brains, especially the people who already want to believe it. Yeah, it's gonna get nuts. Biden eats babies. Like yeah.
you know what we should do as an experiment is we should take one of those AI bots and make Biden say like things Trump has said that are
Oh yeah.
terrible, and then play that to like MAGA people. And then when
Yeah.
they post it and be like, "Look what Biden said," be like, "Oh no, actually, that's what your guy said."
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a version of that. Like it's not the AI version, but there's like people who say like, "Oh, Biden said this." Like they go up to those people, the MAGA crowd. They're like, "Biden once said this," and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, see, he's terrible." Blah, and then they'll tell them the truth that it was Trump, and then you see how they flip, and there's like, well,
yeah, it is nuts. So yeah, 2024, man, I'm not looking forward to it, but we'll, just like everybody else, we're on the ride and we'll see where it is.
Yep. We're all sitting in the back seat.
Well, AJ, should we do some stories?
Let's do it.
Okay, I'll start with you. What do you got for us this week?
Let's see here. What's my favorite story here? Okay, this one's interesting. Man undergoes penis enlargement procedure, sues doctor after organ shrinks.
Oh,
Ooh. A Turkish man is suing the doctor he paid for a penis enlargement procedure after his sexual organ allegedly shrunk by 1 centimeter following the botched operation. Boy, I bet that centimeter made all the difference for him. Though.
I was going to say it's bad that it went in that direction, but a centimeter's not like terrible.
But if he was already trying to get the surgery,
That's true.
He was working.
Yeah, you need every centimeter you can get.
Yeah. Ider Turkmen, he's definitely Turkish, a banker from Tekirdağ, Turkey, is seeking 500,000 lira, which is $16,500, in compensation from Dr. Haluk Solmez, the man who was supposed to help him enlarge his penis in both length and girth, but ultimately cause it to shrink. Turkmen claims that the doctor promised him an extra 3 centimeters, 1.1 inches, in both length and girth. But after 2 botched procedures, he ended up with 1 less centimeter than he originally had. The banker's lawyers told the judge of the first civil court of first instance that he had to endure excruciating pain that left him unable to walk properly for a month and was left with a shorter, severely scarred sexual organ. According to the documents presented leader Turkmen's lawyers, he underwent the first penis enlargement procedure at Dr. Soilmez's clinic in January of 2022. During his recovery, the banker started experiencing bleeding and told the doctor about it. After examining his patient, Soilmez scheduled him for a second operation. Only this one left Turkmen feeling even worse. He experienced an agonizing pain that made it difficult to walk properly. Even after the pain subsided, his sexual organ remained permanently scarred and shorter than before. Turkmen dreamed of adding 3 centimeters to his 12-centimeter penis, but is now lamenting the fact that Holmik Soilmez's procedures left him with a 11-centimeter organ. What's 12 centimeters?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think every centimeter counted with this guy, but is now lamenting the fact that Haluk Soilmez's procedure left him with an 11-centimeter organ. Okay. Dr. Soilmez disputes this claim, insisting that the banker's penis was 11 centimeters long to begin with. Due to the patient's anatomical structure, enlargement of the sexual organ failed, but insists that he did nothing wrong. So he's blaming the patient's body for this. There's no fault in the procedure I performed. Adding that he never made any commitments about the length or girth of the patient's penis following the procedure, and accused him of seeking unjust material compensation. Why do the procedure if you're not going to make it bigger? Like, was it just for fun in that case?
He really needed like a before and after picture to prove he lost that centimeter.
The bizarre trial is still ongoing, and neither party has responded to the request of local press for comment on the matter. This is Turkey's second viral medical case in a span of a month after that of a man who had his front teeth extracted by a dental clinic cleaner posing as a dentist. All right, so don't get these things done in Turkey.
You know what's weird though is apparently Turkey has become somewhat of a hotspot for like cosmetic procedures. I know for a fact that like one of like the best like hair transplant places in the world is in Turkey. Like people go there specifically to get hair transplants because apparently like they do a really good job. But apparently this clinic still needs work on the old penis lengthening.
Yeah, the old reverse enlargement is what he got. I imagine Turkey's probably cheaper than other countries. Like,
I would think so. That's probably why people go there.
Yeah, because like a lot of people go here to Mexico too for like procedures, just for the price.
Man,
though it's probably not as reliable, I imagine.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to go to Mexico for a procedure. Man, I don't know how effective it is, but I know some people get it's not like penis lengthening. Apparently it doesn't even involve surgery, but basically they just take like fat from another part of your body and like inject it like around your penis to make it like, I don't know, like It's like filler basically for your penis to make it like
Okay.
plumper, I guess. Give you a girthier penis, I guess. But apparently there's people that do that. I don't know if it's effective or if it messes you up at all, but it's something people are trying. Okay, AJ, I found this article a little amusing. So this is an article about 10 of the most poorly named products in history. Number 10, Touch Dick. In 2005, South Korean software developer Daewon Media launched a Korean English dictionary on the then new Nintendo DS. For some reason, due to the console's groundbreaking touch control, they named their educational game Touch Dick. Why are you laughing? Dick is short for dictionary. Although the game was never released outside of South Korea, Daewon named its subsequent versions Touch Dictionary. Perhaps they should have played their own game for a bit before naming it. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if they called it Touch Dick, it would have sold more copies.
That's true. Somebody would want to show that to their friends.
Just for the laugh of it, yeah. Number 9, the Ford Pinto. There are more languages in the world than English, and poor product name choices can happen in them as well. Take, for example, the Ford Pinto automobile. The name's pretty inoffensive. The car's named after a horse, right? Yet Ford's executive wondered why it wasn't selling in Brazil. Then they found out that in Brazilian Portuguese, Pinto is slang for a small male genitals.
Oh.
Considering many men's attitudes towards their cars, it was no wonder they weren't thrilled about driving around in this thing.
Yeah. You're supposed to have a big truck for small penises.
Number 8, monkey gland sauce. Now, monkey gland sauce.
Gland sauce?
Monkey gland sauce.
Gland.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Monkey gland sauce isn't a brand name per se. It's just a generic and pretty disgusting name for a sauce from South Africa. The thing is, it doesn't contain any monkey glands. The stuff is made with tomato sauce, a Worcestershire sauce, vinegar, garlic, and some other ingredients. So why is it called that? Nobody knows, but one theory suggests it comes from a disgruntled French chefs who were outraged by local South Africans' preference for dousing everything they eat with condiments. I mean, that sounds like it has a racist origin. Like the French are like, look at these monkeys with this sauce.
Yeah. First of all, how do you not like sauce? Sauce is delicious. Everybody loves sauce.
Well, I guess it depends on the sauce, but...
Did he make the sauce? Or did he just name it?
Well, apparently, like, this was something they were using in South Africa. It's this sauce it's tomato sauce, Worcestershire sauce, vinegar, garlic, and other ingredients. And, like, apparently some French chefs down there didn't like it, and so they... I think nicknamed it monkey gland sauce.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it does sound racist as hell.
This next one sounds pretty racist as well. Let's see. Jew's ear juice.
Oh, Jew's ear juice?
In 2009, the Zizing China Industry Company released a new soft drink in China's market. They called it Jew's ear juice. The name quickly and perhaps unsurprisingly started making an international buzz on the internet. But the thing is, the manufacturer didn't mean anything anti-Semitic with the name. Jew's ear is simply one of the many names of the mushroom, Auricularia auricula judae, and the Chinese company just picked it out of a dictionary. Following the controversy, however, they renamed the drink to black fungus juice. After another of the mushroom's names. So yeah, that sounds bad too.
Yeah, it does.
They're just going to keep renaming it offensive names going forward. Okay, this next one is actually one that I've heard of and actually I have seen before. Nads. Nads is an Australia brand of hair removal products, one of the biggest in the world, in fact. That's despite the fact that in America's slang, the brand name translates to testicles. The stuff wasn't meant for waxing balls, though. Nads was founded in 1992 by Australian businesswoman Sue Ismail after her daughter wanted a less painful method to wax her armpits. It seems that Nads is aware of the double entendre in the name. After all, one of their products is called Nads Down Under for men. I I don't know if I've definitely seen this. I don't know if like my mom or sister bought it or if I just saw it in a store, but I have definitely seen this before.
I used to see them. I haven't seen them lately. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen them in a long time, but definitely as a kid, I remember seeing it. Next one, the IKEA Fartful. IKEA likes to name its Swedish heritage, or likes to lean into its Swedish heritage, naming its fiberboard furniture with unpronounceable Swedish words. That doesn't always work out too well, as the Fartful workbench showed. Now, in Swedish, fart means speed. Fartful then translates to speedy or quick. Be that as it may, English-speaking customers had a good chuckle with the name. Unsurprisingly, the workbench is no longer available.
Come on,
No,
the Swedes had to have known. You're telling me they didn't know what that word meant?
you would think somebody on their team would be familiar with
Really?
American English. Oh, actually, like most of them, like speak English as a second language already, so you would think they would know. The next one, I could see how this company kind of got screwed over. AIDS chocolate.
Oh boy.
Today, nobody in their right mind would name their product AIDS. But the thing is, the horrible disease was unknown when AIDS chocolate launched in the 1930s, reaching a market-leading position by the 1970s. And then came the 80s and the AIDS epidemic. As if the chocolate's name wasn't bad enough, it was marketed as a diet product intended to help people lose weight.
Oh.
Considering uncontrollable weight loss is one of AIDS symptoms, that didn't make things any better. The chocolate manufacturer tried rebranding, but the damage was done, and AIDS chocolate died in the early 90s.
Jeez, they were a market leader and they died like 20 years later?
Yeah, apparently in the 70s they were doing very well. They were a market leader. And then, yeah.
Jeez. That's how you take out your...
I wonder though if they just like renamed it something we would recognize today. They don't say that, but yeah, that's rough. Your name's AIDS and then AIDS comes along.
Yeah.
I gotta say, like, I would have been very old when they stopped making it, but I certainly don't ever remember seeing an AIDS chocolate bar.
Yeah, no, I never heard of that. I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah. The next one, Rexona Girl Hello Kitty Pussy Wind.
Oh.
Rexona Girl is the deodorant manufacturer's brand aimed at tween girls. As such, the word pussy has no business being on the bottles. Yet the Rexona marketing department had an unfortunate lapse in judgment when naming this limited edition Hello Kitty cross-branded deodorant. They were going for Pussycat, but we guess nobody at the branding meeting stopped to think for even a second. You know, we can't decide if being associated with Hello Kitty makes the name better or worse. My thing is, I think Hello Kitty is like a Japanese like type thing, right?
Yeah.
But again, just like with like the Swedish thing, you would think they would have some sort of knowledge that you know, pussy has a certain connotation in English in the States, at least, you know.
Sure, yeah.
Number 2, anal tech. What kinds of products? What kind of products would you think anal tech manufactures? Did you guess plates and accessories for thin layer chromatography? No, you probably didn't. The company, founded in 1961, produces equipment for chemical analysis, and that's where the name comes from. Anal tech stands for Analytical Technologies.
Oh.
The thing
Did you ever watch Development?
Not much. Only a couple episodes.
The guy in there was like oblivious to like the sexual things he says. He keeps saying sexual innuendos, and he was an analyst and a therapist, and he called himself an anal on his side.
Oh man. The thing is, these guys are from Delaware, so we can assume they speak fluent English. Therefore, we can only conclude they knew exactly what they were naming their company. Here's a fun fact. Although Analtech has since rebranded to Miles Scientific, their website still proudly shows off the previous company's names as well. Okay.
Be proud.
And then this is number 1 on their list, the worst named item. The Trek Store I Beat Blaxx.
What?
So it's like a MP3 player. So it's I and then beat, like, feel the beat of the music, and then
Oh,
Blaxx is spelled Blaxx, but I Beat Blaxx is the whole name.
oh, I get where they were trying to go with that, but boy, wow, how do you not see it?
So it says, remember when MP3 players were a thing in the 2000s? One company manufacturing these once ubiquitous gadgets was German Trextor. In 2007, they released a brand new model housed in a shiny piano black case. To market the new device, the company wanted a cool and hip name for it, so they called it the I Beat Blaxx. Needless to say, the name proved just a bit controversial. Once the company figured out their gaffe, they scrambled to drop the I Beat part out of the name and rebranded it simply to Trextor Blaxx.
It's a little better, I guess.
I gotta say, like, I want to be a fly on the wall in these marketing departments that can, like, come up with a name like that and not realize it.
I would love to be the common sense guy that they have just to, like, pass things by, like, you can pay me whatever you want. I could do that job. It's pretty easy. I could turn down I Beat Blaxx pretty quickly and figure that one out.
I gotta say that is a funny one. The fact that made it to market is just amazing.
It had to be a German company too. It's a bad look. It's a bad
We should
look.
go on eBay and see if we can find one. I Beat Blaxx. Oh my god. AJ, I'll send it back to you.
All right, let's see what we got here. We got some interesting ones, but there was one that stuck out to me the most. Oh, okay, yeah. China's trying to put life on extra hard mode. Chinese lab creates mutant coronavirus-like virus with 100% death rate in humanized mice. Chinese researchers have sparked controversy in the scientific community after publishing a study on a mutant coronavirus-related virus that reportedly caused a 100% death rate in infected humanized mice. The origin of the COVID-19 virus is still unknown, but conspiracy theories surrounding an out-of-control Chinese lab experiment are once again gaining traction online thanks to a controversial study recently published by Chinese scientists in Beijing. They apparently experimented with a mutated strain of GXP2V, a coronavirus cousin discovered in Malaysian pangolins in 2017, 3 years before the COVID-19 pandemic, using it to infect genetically modified mice engineered to reflect similar genetic makeup to people. The controversial study is the first of its kind to report a 100% mortality rate in mice infected by GXP2V, far surpassing the findings of previous research. The study authors noted that all the humanized mice infected with GXP2V died within 8 days, a surprisingly rapid death rate. As the virus started weakening its host, the mice began losing weight, moving visibly slower, and displaying a hunched posture. GXP2V infected the lungs, bones, eyes, tracheas, and brains of the mice, and reportedly caused their eyes to become completely white a day before they died. This underscores a spillover risk of GXP2V in humans and provides a unique model for understanding the pathogen mechanisms of SARS-CoV-2 related viruses, the authors noted. The terrifying findings outraged Western scientists and virologists, many of whom labeled it as terrible and useless as it provides no real insight into how the GXP2V virus might affect humans. I can see nothing from a vague interest that could be learned from force infecting a weird breed of humanized mice with a random virus. Conversely, I could see how such stuff might go wrong. Francois Ballot of epidemiology at the University College London's Genetics Institute wrote on X. The preprint does not specify the biosafety level and biosafety precautions used for the research, Ballot continued. The absence of this information raises the concerning possibility that part or all of this research, like the research in Wuhan in 2016 to 2019 that likely caused the COVID-19 pandemic, recklessly was performed without the minimal biosafety containment and practices essential for research with potential pandemic pathogens. Oh my God, say that 6 times. Richard H. Ebright, professor of chemistry and chemical biology at Rutgers University, concurred with Ballot, while Gennady Glinsky, a retired professor of medicine at Stanford, wrote, "This madness must be stopped before it's too late." So, fingers crossed there's not another variant out there that could kill us all.
Man, I gotta say, like, I feel like we handled the pandemic, like in some respects, so poorly that if one comes along that really does have a super high death rate, that we might be screwed. I don't know.
Oh, sure. All humans will die. The only thing about this one is it kills you in 8 days. So if you live in like an isolated part of the world where you might not have a lot of people coming in and out, you might survive that. But anybody who, yeah, in large population areas with lots of visitors, a lot of travelers, yeah, no, done.
A part of me wonders if I should move back to Montana just to
Yeah, actually, that's true.
just to have a chance.
But some trucker will come in there, I'm sure, and get you guys.
Probably.
Man, I don't know why they did this. At this point, I think China's just wiping everybody. They're just trying to get everybody at this point. They're like, let's start over.
Well, it is scary because like intelligence agencies have like played around with making viruses that can attack people based on like their genetic makeup. And so like China or any country could conceivably make a bio weapon that would basically kill everyone who's not Chinese or their origin, and so it is scary to think about somebody unleashing a virus like that.
Yeah, it only takes one person, right? Like, unless you have like immense safety procedures in place where like nobody can get access without other people knowing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But COVID got out, so yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the only bright side to the pandemic maybe is it did force them to look into that like RNA like vaccine technology. And so if it does happen again, they should be able to get vaccines more quickly.
Okay.
So that maybe was one silver lining to the pandemic. But boy, I have no confidence that like if a pandemic is ever let loose, it does have a high death rate. Like, boy, I think we're in a bad way.
Oh, for sure. I mean, half the population is going to buck that and be like, freedom, like that's.
Yeah. It's so weird that so quickly became a political issue, but it did.
Yeah. That's
Instantly.
like Spanish flu being a political issue. It's like, yeah, it's just weird. I don't know. Doesn't make sense. Smallpox, a political, like, this is a disease. It doesn't give a shit about your politics, man.
Right.
Go kill your mom.
Let's see what time we got. Okay, I got one more story before we wrap things up.
Yeah.
So AJ, this is 8 animals that regularly get drunk or high.
Ooh, I'm one of them. I used to be one of
them. Number 1, American robins. And it says, and other berry-eating birds. Fall is a fantastic time to be a robin or any other type of berry-eating bird. Trees and bushes are full of berries on which the birds can gorge themselves. But as the fall days progress, some of the berries begin to rot and ferment, naturally developing a mild alcohol content. Birds don't have much of a sense of taste, so they don't care if the berries' best before date has flown by. But they do feel the alcohol. It's not unusual to see completely smashed birds staggering about around berry trees in the fall. It's even more funny when they try to take flight while hammered. You don't have to worry about the birds, though. They'll sleep it off and be fine in the morning. I always wondered, because a lot of times birds will like fly into like windows and stuff, and I think that's mostly because like their vision, like it does something where they can't see them. But now that I know this, it's like maybe there are some like drunken flying birds out there that are just like knocking into stuff because they can't fly straight.
The one that keeps running into the window that you gotta drunk. Yeah.
Man, my parents' house back home in Montana, they get a lot of birds that hit their windows.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. I bet skyscrapers get those a lot.
Yeah, I would think so. That'd be funny if you
single skyscraper. Are we wiping them out?
That would be funny if you had like an office job in a skyscraper and like birds just like keep running into your window. Let's see. Number 2, fruit bats. I think this is going to be mostly like just animals that eat fruit.
Yeah, yeah.
Fruits can go off and turn alcoholic just like berries. And just like the birds, fruit bats consuming the fermented fruit will also imbibe any alcohol within. There's one crucial distinction between the leathery and feathery creatures, though. Whereas birds get helplessly drunk, fruit bats can hold their liquor. One study
Ooh.
from 2010 found South African fruit bats with blood alcohol content as high as 0.3%, flying around without much trouble. For reference, blood alcohol content of only 0.08% will get you pulled over for driving drunk. Curiously, though, it seems to be only American fruit bats that have a high alcohol tolerance.
Oh
Similar
yeah. Uh,
Similar bats from Egypt, for instance, have been found to get drunk and fly into things after eating fermented fruit.
mm.
That is odd. I wonder if maybe the ones in America are just exposed to more rotten fruit, so they get build up more of a tolerance.
That makes sense. But why would the fruit here be more rotten than over there? I mean, like, doesn't it all go bad at the same time?
You
Maybe it
would
doesn't.
you would think so. Yeah, that is odd. Huh. Number 3, wallabies. The island of Tasmania in Australia is the world's largest legal grower of opium poppy. Natural opium is used in medicine, and someone needs to grow the plants after all. But when food is scarce, Tasmania's wallabies wander into the poppy fields to eat the flowers, and these kangaroo-like creatures are not immune to opium. Wallabies have been spotted hopping around poppy fields in circles while being high out of their minds. Eventually, animals crash and fall asleep right there in the field. What's weird is that wallabies aren't the only animals that start walking around the circles after ingesting opium. Sheep that got into the poppy fields do the same. Huh. Makes you walk in circles, apparently.
I guess everybody loves opium.
Number 4, tree shrews. The pen-tailed tree shrew is a small mammal that lives in the jungles of Southeast Asia, and every night these little critters go out for beer. One of their primary food sources is the fermented nectar of the Bertram palm. The nectar can have an alcohol content as high as around 4%, roughly equal to your usual light beer. The tree shrews aren't satisfied with just one drink either. When adjusted for body weight, the amount they consume each night is about equivalent to a person drinking 10 glasses of wine. Yet somehow the tree shrews don't get drunk. Their ability to metabolize alcohol is so strong it baffles researchers. That is odd. Imagine if you could drink 10 glasses of wine and not get drunk. Like,
They're like, was that Captain America?
right.
That sucks, man.
That is odd because, yeah, like, comparatively, that is a ton of alcohol they're drinking, and they're not they can metabolize it that way. That's actually pretty interesting.
I mean, I bet it, like, humans, we used to drink alcohol a lot because the water was so unsafe to drink. So actually, alcohol helped us survive in like times where we didn't have clean water. I imagine this might be similar for them.
Maybe. Yeah, you never know. Man, that is like a bad like the water's like so bad that drinking like old alcohol is like better. Number 5, dolphins.
Sorry, I just gotta interrupt.
Oh, go ahead.
In France, they had like sewage water in their water. It was like, yeah, that stuff, and they would cook with it and everything. And like they finally switched to like clean water or cleaner water. I don't know. And the people complained so much because it didn't taste the same. The food didn't taste the same, stuff like that. Yeah.
We want that doo-doo water.
Yeah.
That's funny. Number 5, dolphins. Dolphins are usually depicted as playful, friendly sea creatures, even though they're everything but. The marine mammals love to sexually assault and murder, and they also do drugs. Their favorite intoxicant is pufferfish poison. Groups of dolphins have been seen nosing and scraping pufferfish with their teeth to get high off their poisonous secretions. Not only that, they pass the poor pufferfish around like a group of college students smoking a joint. Yet, just as human drug users, junkie dolphins play a lethal game. A pufferfish produces more than enough toxins to kill a dolphin, and going too hard at it may prove fatal to the dolphin. This is actually one that I've heard of before.
Yeah, I think I've heard of this.
It's a very weird, but yeah, the old puffer fish. Number 6, reindeer. Everybody knows reindeer pull Santa's sleigh around the world, but outside of Christmas time, Rudolph likes to chow down on some magic mushrooms. Reindeer in Siberia often eat Amanita muscaria, that is fly agaric. They probably don't do it on purpose, but reindeer that happen to consume enough of the toxic shrooms will begin to hallucinate. Native Siberian shamans noticed this and also began to consume fly agaric during their rituals. That or they drink the reindeer's urine since their digestive system filters out the poison and leaves only the good stuff in the pee. What a harmonic hallucinogenic coexistence between man and beast. Now, AJ, you've thought about doing mushrooms. Have you thought about going to Siberia and drinking reindeer piss?
It's a new idea. Take some thought and consideration, but I'm leaning towards maybe.
Number 7, bees. Worker bees consume nectar and transfer it back to the nest for honey production. And as we learned from the tree shrews, fermented nectar can be alcoholic, which may lead to the bees getting drunk. Beekeepers and researchers have seen bees get so wasted they can't find their way back to the nest and have to wait until they sober up. If they manage to stagger their way home, though, they're in for a bad time. You see, bee society doesn't approve of public drunkenness. Depending on the hive, worker bees that show up drunk can get punished or even killed. Nicotine, however, is perfectly okay among bees. In fact, the bugs seem to have a preference for nectar from nicotine-producing plants. Man, who studies? It's weird that we study like bees enough that we would actually like see this. Like, oh, we can see this bee's getting drunk, and we can see when he goes back to the hive, like the other bees have a problem with it.
I used to watch a lot of those National Geographic shows when I was a kid, and like I was amazed by how they caught the most interesting, weirdest scenarios on those cameras. Like, you know, they watched those animals and insects for months, maybe years to catch that footage. Like, the dedication it takes to learn this stuff is just amazing to me. You know, the Aztecs, in their society, you also couldn't publicly be drunk. I don't know if you could drink in public at all, and they would also like potentially kill you for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
But they would still drink. They just did it. Just did it in private. And then finally, number 8, the vervet monkeys. The Caribbean islands, like Barbados, are famed for their rum. But it's not just humans who like the sweet brown liquor. Local vervet monkeys on multiple Caribbean islands have developed a taste for alcohol as a result of their alcohol industry. They love stealing fermented sugar cane and getting wasted by chewing it. Most of the monkeys are social drinkers who like to get buzzed with their friends. However, researchers have found that around 5% of Caribbean vervet monkeys are raging, barely functional alcoholics who will drink themselves to death if given unrestricted access to booze. If these alcoholic monkeys can't find sugar cane, they will resort to other means of getting their fix, such as stealing cocktails from beach-going tourists.
Yeah, monkeys do steal a lot from tourists. Like I think I've seen videos where they like steal your phone, and then you have to give them a banana to get the phone back from them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It would be a good story to say, like, oh, I got my drink stolen by a monkey.
Yeah, that's true.
Man, I remember we did that story on the podcast, like, forever ago, where there was, like, cities where, like, monkeys were, like, taking over and they were, like, killing people's dogs and stuff.
Yeah. Man. I don't like monkeys, man. They're jerks.
Yeah, that would
power.
I would be scared if I lived in a place like that.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you have little kids, they could never be out by themselves, you know.
And I mean, they're stronger than they look, right? Like I know they can rip your flesh off your bones. Like they got a good grip.
I think they're pretty tough, yeah.
Yeah. Oof. No.
Well, AJ, any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
Man, I'm hoping we can find some good shows and movies to watch coming up soon. It'd be fun to check something out.
Yeah, I don't know what the next thing coming up I'm interested in is I think Dune opens in March, Dune Part 2, which I'll watch. Yeah, I'm not going to do Madam Web. I'm interested to see how it performs, though. I am.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be. I'm curious. I know like there's gonna be those, just like Star Wars has. There're gonna be those toxic Marvel fans who are gonna preemptively on the movie, but they're gonna be right. You know, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is they're probably going to be right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's one thing. Is like I don't like those people, but like at the same time, like it reminds me of like when the female Ghostbusters movie was coming out, and those groups were being like so obnoxious, and I was like, man, I hope
yeah,
this movie is good, but like
yeah,
I can't lie, that movie sucks.
yeah.
So it's
I,
like it is what it is.
yeah. Don't
But
prove them.
well, anyway, we thank everybody for following along. If you will, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can also subscribe in audio form on your podcast catcher of choice. Leave us thumbs up, positive reviews, all that good stuff. If you like, you can follow me over on Twitter/X at Zach Jones Live. That's ZachJonesLive. But that'll do it for all of our shenanigans and poppycock this week. Please, please, please tune in again next week. Bye, guys.
Take care.